Gango, how's everybody doing, man? As you can see, we're doing things a little different today. I've got a nice little face reveal for you guys. In case you were wondering what the voice looked like. Now you have it. Anyway, we're I want to jump into this quick reaction video. I want to react to a Robbie video, and it seems like he's talking about some transfer business that Arsenal are doing. And yeah, not much more to it than that. Let's just jump right into it. I'm watching this from my cell phone, in case anybody's watching. Or in case anybody's wondering, I'm using my laptop to record audio. And yeah, we'll just jump right into it.
Who will Arsenal have in place before the start of that season? Everybody wants Eze. I've not met a fan that's not said, I don't want Eze, Robbie. Eze is the one. I think a lot of people think if we get Eze, it's been a fantastic transfer window. Now, when are Arsenal going to try and make a move? We know that the release clause now, that has gone and passed. That's 68 million, where if you put that down, Crystal Palace have to do business if the player wants to go, but that has passed. But the Financial Times are claiming this week that Arsenal are ready in their first formal offer of £52 million to try and get Eze. It's said to be a deal that represents £30 million up front, plus £22 million to be paid in instalments over 2 years. £52 million. Remember, originally, Crystal Palace looking for £68 million.
Sneaky Arsenal, bro. Always trying to
take 60. Will £52 million be enough? Sounds like that.
Always trying to lowball clubs, man.
Arsenal
like they're not rich like
it's
that.
going to get rejected. It's their opening offer. They're said to be put on the table sometime this week. It's going to be interesting to see this one now, how it plays out. As I said, with this one, Arsenal been playing a bit of a waiting game on this one. Crystal Palace know that the player himself would like this move, but ideally they'd like to hold on to him. But also, they don't want to be left with a player that's unhappy and also a player where his contract's running out. Remember, he's only got a year left. Then they're going to have to sell him for next to nothing yet next year. Going to be interesting, this one. This is going to be the big one between now and the end of the transfer window for Arsenal. So we're keeping our eyes definitely on the Eze situation. I spoke about Brahim Diaz on yesterday's show and how Arsenal are amongst a host of clubs that have got their eye on this situation with Brahim Diaz. Arsenal were linked with him earlier on in the transfer window. But a bit of an update on this one today. Fabrizio Romano claiming that
weren't they interested in Rodrigo? What happened to that?
Yet, which has been surprising.
I wonder if any talks
he reported
were
about a month ago
if any
that Brahim Diaz was going to
approaches
sign.
were made.
He's saying that
you guys will let me know if
all
that's
the
the
conditions
case
of the contract and will be signing it, even though he hasn't signed it yet. So still one to keep an eye on, but it does look like he will stay at Real Madrid. Brahim Diaz, quality player, still looks like Arsenal will probably go after Eze. Now, this one's come right out of the blue today. Lots of people have been reporting this. Fabrizio Romano amongst them, but, this didn't come from this. Has come from many different sources, claiming that Arsenal are very interested in signing Jeremy Jacquet from Stade Rennais over there in France. He's 20 years of age, a centre-back, valued around about £10 million, seen as a real top prospect in French football. Now, of course, Arsenal could be losing a couple of players in those defensive positions. We saw how they brought in Mosquera as a replacement for Tomiyasu when he left. Could Jeremy Jacquet be the player that's going to come in for either Zinchenko or Jakub Kiwior if they leave? Now, he's a centre-back by trade. Not known to be a player that can be, versatile to play, say, a left-back, for instance. You look on all of these, information, he's a centre-back, right-footed centre-back, which is kind of what we've got in Mosquera. But Arsenal are interested in him, and he could be bought in if there are sales to any of the following players. First one up, Jakub Kiwior. Now, he is one to definitely watch between now and the end of the transfer window. Mikel Arteta is still a big fan of Jakub Kiwior and would love to keep him, especially for the squad depth. Arsenal have already rejected a bid that's said to come from a Portuguese club in July, but many clubs are honing in on Jakob Kivior, very interested in signing him. Of course, he had a good season last year when he came in for Gabriel. We've seen him over the last couple of seasons. Even though he hasn't been a starter, he's always covered very well when called upon, has figured in pre-season as well in the absence of Gabriel and also the absence of Calafiori. But if those two are fit, when does he get his chances to play? It's going to be interesting, this one, because there's also been a lot of talk that Arsenal identified the fact that they had so many injuries and so little cover sometimes in certain areas, and they feel that that is what cost them the title last year. So squad depth is important. But as I said, they're lining up this youngster from France. Could that, for instance, be for a Jakob Kivior? One to definitely keep an eye on, because Jakob Kivior would.
Does anybody know anything about this centre back from France, guys? How good is he? Should we be worried or what?
Definitely one to keep an eye on between now and the end of the transfer window, as is the situation with Alexander Zinchenko. News yesterday coming out that he's selling his restaurant that he bought. The restaurant's actually not in London, it's in Kiev, but he's got that restaurant up for sale. A lot of people are tying that into the fact that he could be leaving Arsenal. He's been heavily linked with a move to Fulham, but nothing's really moved on that so far. But Jakob Kivior and Alexander Zinchenko could be players on the move before the end of the transfer window. And as I said, Jeremy Jacquet, a player that Arsenal are looking at as a possible replacement.
Why would he be selling a restaurant in Kiev?
Definitely
where he doesn't even live
and I feel that,
or work,
as well as the possibility
and why does that
before the end of the transfer window
signify that he's like moving? I guess it's the transfer window, so everybody's taking any bit of information and trying to make sense of it.
He didn't play a minute of pre-season over there in Hong Kong and Singapore. I think the only player I can think of who didn't play any minutes but was over there training. So surely he's going to be moving. Fabio Vieira as well. Lots of outgoings as well this month, I feel, because the window closes at the end of it. So if you want to find out what's happening with all of these situations, you've got to keep it locked here on AFTV. We'll be running right until the end of the transfer window. We've been here every single day so far. Despite the fact that we've been away in different countries, you haven't missed a thing, right? So keep it locked here on AFTV, and we'll keep you up to date with all of the transfer rumours. Thanks for watching the show. I'll see you tomorrow.
Wasn't this supposed to be about Eze? I could have sworn they had Eze on the thumbnail. Alright, let me just... video's over. I could have sworn they were going to talk about Eze. I think they just touched on him for like 2 seconds. But the main gist is they want to offload Zinchenko and maybe a few more players to sign some French center back that I've never heard of before. Yeah, I mean, not too much insight, not too much excitement coming from this video, but anyway, you know, we take what we get. And yeah, shout out to the Don, and shout out to you guys for watching, if you are still watching up to this point. And be sure that we're gonna do a lot more reaction videos from now on, you know what I mean? You know, you guys can give me your feedback on how you feel about that. Aside from that, guys, you know, it's been real. Shout out to you guys. And yeah, I'll catch up with you guys later. Peace.